Hi, I'm Nick Vinzan, host of Profoundly Pointless, Signal Award winner for Best Interview Podcast, Exorcists, Money Launderers, Arctic Explorers. Every week we explore something new from a side of life you may never have even heard of. Check out Profoundly Pointless wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome to BookTok for BookTok with Jack and Amy, a literary podcast where we deep dive into the writings of your favorite novels.
This is Jack.
And I'm Amy.
And during this season of Book Club, we're stepping away on Thursdays to explore topics we've recently written about on the Subtext Society Journal. This week, we're discussing dark romance. Does it allow for a darker space?
The Subtext Society Journal is a space for critical thinking and cultural reflection on the genres that are too often dismissed, including romance, romantasy, fanfiction, and the narratives that live rent-free in our hearts and minds.
We're creating a bridge between academic analysis and everyday reading experience, between highbrow literary commentary and the deeply personal way books shape who we are.
We publish thoughtful essays from our readers, ourselves, and guest contributors that explore the moral questions, genre evolutions, and cultural conversations happening in real time.
We are redefining what deserves serious attention in publishing, and we're doing it with feeling.
The views expressed in this episode are entirely our own and are not meant to represent the larger opinion of the bookish community. This podcast is a discussion shared to spark thought and conversation. Readers and listeners are encouraged to share their own analysis and thoughts.
Explicit language, as well as themes of sex, violence, abuse, depression, self-harm, and death will recur throughout this podcast. Listener discretion is advised. All right. Hi. This is our first time doing this one.
Yeah. So this is a learning experience.
We're all going to fuck up together.
That's a nice way to put it.
So we decided that our Thursday episodes need to have a little something special / send your asses over to Subtext Society Journal. Let's be real. That's what we're trying to do here. I'm sorry. Amy's face was like, whoa, look, I'm here for transparency and honesty. We want subscribers. We want you to contribute. I know what we're doing, and now you know what we're doing.
I appreciate your honesty. Your spiciness is coming through.
We also wrote some really interesting things, in my humble opinion of having been a writer of that.
And we are looking for other people who have interesting thoughts and opinions to share them with us.
Yes, we've already had a couple of submissions, and honestly, they wrote it better than we did. Anything that we've done. Reading some of these art submissions, I was like, oh, they're truly smarter than us. So today we are discussing an article that I wrote back in September called "Is Dark Romance Allowing a Dark Space? Holding Women to the Same Standards to Which We Hold Men." Before we get into any of that, this conversation will discuss sexual assault, and I know we did a pre-warning, but this is me doing a warning. So just trigger warnings ahead, especially not just with the topic of dark romance, but with some of the situations that we will discuss. So let's start with, what the hell is dark romance?
Are
I
you
guess.
looking at me?
I mean, I was just talking a long time, so I just felt like, it felt
fair.
good to hear your voice.
That's it. I appreciate you think my voice is lovely and necessary for this conversation. Dark romance. So dark romance, I think if I were to explain it, and this is not an educated explanation, is it's pushing the boundaries of what we find acceptable in romance and pushing past what we would say are societal norms when it comes to us reading romance or women reading romance or whatever the case is. It's things that if it happened in real life, we'd probably have an issue with it.
Yeah.
But, and you put it very well in your article, it's a space where the forbidden and the uncomfortable can be explored in a controlled environment.
Yep. Yep. You said it so well. My God. Yeah, it is. It's take everything that you find problematic in romantasy, in romance books. This whole, oh, they're morally gray, which is funny because I'm wearing my morally gray shirt right
You
now,
are.
sweatshirt. Also wearing the pants you got me. You gave
Oh, I
me.
love that.
I wear them more often than I should admit. I
I
wash them.
understand.
But this is a space where everything you might find problematic with male characters, with situations, take that tenfold. These are not morally gray men. These are not morally gray situations. These are straight up dark.
Black.
Black. Yeah. It's not, there's no gray here. This is dark romance. And it is a space where it is beyond push to the limits. And it is a space where, sometimes people will have debates on what's considered dark romance. I know some people considered Butcher and Blackbird a dark romance. And yeah, all right. I mean, just because there's a little bit of serial killers and cannibalism, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm already going to debate it. I'm not debating you, and you know that. Yeah, Butcher and Blackbird is not a dark romance because the romance itself is not dark.
Wait, I was agreeing with you. I agree.
No, I know. I'm not debating you. I'm debating the statement.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I'm debating the statement that you stated other people state, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Dark romance is about the explicit things that happen in the romance situation, right? Two serial killers having a consensual relationship is not dark romance in my book.
There's a concept called dubious consent in dark romance. And I don't think every single dark romance necessarily needs to have it, but I have yet to read a dark romance that doesn't have it. And it takes dubious consent to the extreme. Sometimes it's again, these are trigger warnings out the wazoo, but it could be as light as FMC saying, no, don't do this. But like her insides are, she's very much like, keep going, right?
Right.
And then he keeps going despite her saying no, but she is very much happy with it. To more extremes where he drugs her, she's passed out, and he has sex with her unconscious body. However, most times the women finds out and they're like into it too.
Right. And it's taking a situation and playing with this idea of consent. I mean, are there dark romances with non-consent? There are.
Yeah.
And those have trigger warnings. And if they don't, they should. Right? Because not a lot of people want to read that.
And typically, you don't get straight up non-consent with the MMC. And I have not read every single dark romance. So, feel free to say it nicely in the comments of, actually, this book, I'm just going off of the large variety that I've read, but I will not claim to have read every single one. I have yet to read a dark romance where the MMC completely and utterly assaults the FMC, where she is even afterwards thinking, I hated that. That was straight up rape. You know what I mean? There's always an element of, well, I guess I was kind of into it.
Right. Or the FMC is like, I should have hated that, but I really don't. And now I feel really conflicted. Right.
Yeah. And it's those moments. And that's just, the idea of consent and sex, right? Then you go into darker topics, right? Where you have serial killers, you have stalking. Like, I mean, is it a dark romance if someone isn't stalking someone, right? Putting cameras in someone's room to watch them. Like, that's another reason why people think Lights Out is a dark romance, because he stalks her, but like with a heart of gold. You know what I mean? And these guys don't have the heart of gold, right? Like, they're absolutely dark. One of the first dark romances that I really threw myself into was Hunting Adeline. And, the second he put that gun barrel up her vagina, I was sold.
Honestly, though,
it was hot.
It was hot. And even I am like, when I talk about it out loud, I'm like, what is wrong with me? But I enjoy it. I still enjoy it.
Spoilers here for Hunting Adeline. The first one was Haunting. The Hunting Adeline one, there are rape scenes, not between the FMC and the MMC, but there are very graphic rape scenes. And I had to look online to see, like, what chapter does that end? Because I couldn't handle it. But then there's a part at the end where they had like I can't remember their names, FMC, MMC. I mean, Adeline. There you go. I remember her name.
Zaid
and Adeline.
Adeline.
Yeah. And the people who tortured her, kidnapped her, tied up to a tree. And there's like the scene where she's like crouching in front of them with her legs spread. And like, I think she's like, and her pants pulled down and he's behind her fingering her. And he gets her off in front of the people who kidnapped her and trafficked her. I was like, I was like, I kind of get, I was like, this is one of those moments where you're like, I'm not like, this is dark romance. And you're kind of like, I don't want to say that's hot, but that's like literally the whole point of dark romance is saying like, that's hot. There was another book, which I won't mention because, well, maybe I should mention so people don't. Anyway, where an adopted brother, again, dubious consent, takes his adoptive sister, over their adoptive father's dying body. It's giving Shake That Bear. And it's... Did that bring back college memories?
So
it's one of those things where you're like, is it like, what? It's dark romance is filled with, why am I kind of okay with that? I'm not going to say it's good. I'm not going to say that you're just kind of like, all right.
And again, we are only speaking for ourselves.
And we're not speaking for the dark romance community, but this is why the dark romance community is very often misunderstood because people don't get it. Oh, now I moved on to the next topic. What do people think about the genre? Dark romance is often dismissed. It's often described as like, women who like fucked up things and they're fucked up and anything that's wrong is because of dark romance. It gets a lot of heat out in the non-dark romance community. And when you go into online conversations, there's a lot of reason why people like dark romance, whether it's exploring not even like their own personal boundaries, but just exploring what they like or don't like, or not that they would go and reenact it themselves. Although, give me a forest and a man with a mask. I'll dabble. Hot man consensual mask. But like there's these things that women get to explore. And one of the most powerful statements I've seen online are women saying that it helps them process their own sexual assault that they've experienced. And
Some women.
Some women, yeah. And who are we to say that's how they should or should not process it? If it's helping them process, it's helping them process. But I think dark romance genre is more complex than a lot of other genres because it's making you think in very critical ways where it's like, why is my brain accepting one part of this when another thing is true about this genre, the things that I'm reading?
Yeah. As you were talking, it made me think about porn and men watching porn. And there's a lot of kinky shit out there. And whether you're a man or a woman and you enjoy it, that's your own cup of tea.
Yeah.
How is this any different? For me, it's all cerebral.
Yeah.
It's not happening to real people who are doing these things for pay and potentially not wanting to do these things, right? Who knows? There are some really graphic, terrible things that people do in porn that I don't need to see. I'm okay with, but that's just me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But there's not as much shame.
It's weird. Like, okay, I'll think about the ones where a book where the FMC is unconscious and he does stuff to her body, but she's into it. And there's a part of my brain that gets it, that kind of like understands that, where she might be like, she kind of is into it. And I'm not saying that I would want to go through that, but like, I get the appeal. You can't find that on Pornhub. It's considered illegal. Can you find a group of men peeing in a woman's mouth? Yes. Yeah. I've accidentally have scrolled past those. And I am absolutely horrified with, And the other is like, again, there's like layers of consent to it. And I think dark romance actually plays with the idea of so much consent. And when you look into the BDSM culture, not that dark romance is BDSM, but one of the things about BDSM is that it's trust that you have in the other person. It's knowing that they will pull back and stop if need be. It's the giving yourself completely to someone is the main core of BDSM culture. And I think that dark romance is similar to that of it is a trust. It is trust that you, MMC, are going to bring me pleasure and joy in a way that you know I'm going to like at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, I would say, with dark romance, the reader in some ways is trusting the author, right?
Yeah.
To take me on a journey, keep me safe. And if I don't like it, I'll put it down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to keep reading.
Anytime there's so many people online who will read a dark romance book and then review it and they're just like, I had to put this down. This is disgusting. This is blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you didn't have to pick it up. You don't have to read it. You can start a book, realize that it's not in your lane, and put it down and not leave a damn comment about it, a review, because then this book wasn't for you.
Right.
I get very annoyed when you get the occasional TikToker who they do reviews and then they'll pick up a dark romance and they shit on it just because it'll get them views. And it's like, well, you could have looked at it, said, wow, this is beyond my boundaries of what I'm comfortable with. And then moved the hell along.
Yeah, exactly. That's why trigger warnings exist.
Yeah. And I'm going to read, I'm going to read me. I think, I was going to have little, maybe we'll save that for a future idea, was like reading clips in between, like reading segments so that in between we move on. It's like us reading portions, going in segment into segment. In the future, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I say is that for me personally, if the trigger warnings read like a grocery list, then I'm on board.
Which is so funny because in social media, when someone is crapping on a dark romance book, I feel like half the time the comments are, this sounds great. What's the book's name? I'm into it. Tell me what the book's title is.
Sometimes like people promote books for dark romance of, I'm going to just read the trigger warnings. And then you're like, I want that, please. Give me that book.
Yeah.
I'll take that trigger warning. Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of those things where you absolutely have to read those trigger warnings. Unless you are okay with, like, I like to go in blind because I think the trigger warnings kind of spoil some parts for me. But that's when if you are an avid dark romance reader, then you see something, you're like, ooh, I'm not comfortable with that. That's on you for not reading the trigger warnings. And that's on me to either jump ahead or put it down and accept it. And I actually think like dark romance readers are, in that sense, very understanding readers.
Yeah. And, I think there's something to be said to being a reader who is open-minded, who can say, you know what, this is not my cup of tea, but I can see how this would be somebody else's cup of tea, and I'm not going to yuck someone's yum.
Yep. Talk about the romance genre. That is one of the best ways to summarize the community, is that it's just a community that's like, you know what, I'm not going to yuck your yum. You're into it. God bless. You know what I mean? Like, it's
right.
You don't have to say, oh, I read a book and it had, like sometimes it dabbles with like half siblings, or like or not half siblings, like they're like adoptive siblings. That's no one's ever genetically related, but it's always like the adopted uncle. It's someone who's barely legal. Now, I have seen the community come together where there was one woman who straight up posted pedophilia related content where the MMC was thinking about how hot she was when she was 7. You know what I mean? And like, yes, they don't have sex till she's 18, but he had fantasies about her much earlier, and it wasn't infantilizing. It was grooming. It was pedophilia. And the dark romance community came together and was like, that's not us. Do not group that illegal shit with us.
Right.
So there's always like that dance between, it could be like barely legal or, the adoptive uncle type thing. But I think dark romance, when done correctly and you're not getting those randos in there, knows how to dance with lines very well.
Well, and there are just certain forbidden topics that aren't touched, right?
Yeah.
Pedophilia is one of them.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about some of the darker sides. And I'm going to preface this by saying, I don't think this is the dark side of, go ahead.
Maybe before we jump into that, just maybe we should recognize that dark romance might be someone's guilty pleasure and they don't feel comfortable letting people know that this is their thing, that this might be something that people are not proud about. And that's okay. But I think it's important that whether you're into it or you're not into it, that we respect everybody.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you sit on the fence.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're a dark romance girly, like, it's not a matter of shaming someone when they say Lights Out or Butcher and Blackbird is dark romance or The Blood of Hercules. I will go in, and if I say like that's not dark romance, it's not me trying to put down, that might be the darkest thing that you as a reader have read. That is up for me to say, I need you to know that's not dark romance, because if you start looking for dark romance, it won't be that.
It will be darker.
It'll be way darker than that. So I also like, if it's not someone's cup of tea, completely fine. And if you're not out about liking it, that's okay too. But, and especially like, this isn't me like shaming anyone who doesn't read dark romance either. Okay. So going into a darker moment in the book community that people love to blame the dark romance genre, but I feel like it's part of the bookish community as a whole, is something that happened back in August 2025, and that is the Sinners and Stardust Ball, which was a bookish event. It was a dark romance themed, where dark romance authors showed up, cosplayers cosplaying as dark romance characters and creatures. Because again, dark romance doesn't have to always include humans. A lot of times you'll have demons and devils involved. Never seen a monster dark. I mean, is a demon a monster romance? Anyway, so like you had cosplayers, you had all sorts of exciting things happening. And then ultimately dark romance themed event and ball where authors and guests and everyone, cosplayers, all get to go. Now, it came to light, I would say, after H.D. Carlson's post where she talked about a friend of hers who was a male cosplayer at this event. And she talked about I'm pulling up the notes here. She talked about his experience where a group of women wouldn't leave him alone, kept assaulting him, and would touch him without his consent, put their hands down his pants without consent, and even air tagged him so that they could track him throughout the event. That's one instance. Another instance is an author had a fun good girl box and people could put their hand in and it pulled out a toy and it was like, oh my God, just a fun good girl box. Another person at this event got a dildo from the good girl box and in the middle of the hotel lobby stuck the dildo against the wall and started deep throating it. I mean, one, sanitary issues. We're not talking about that enough. But again, that's like, no one is asking to see that.
Right.
No one is like, just, doing something like that is horrible. And then a third instance that we heard there was that an author came forward and talked about how she was assaulted at the ball by her own readers, that women swarmed her and wouldn't let her leave when she expressed that she wanted to leave. And because of this incident, this author also said that she would no longer be going to these types of events. And the Sinners and Stardust event organizers eventually put out a statement saying that they're no longer going to allow masks, that cosplayers will not be allowed to roam for future events, that they will be regulated to one specific side, and that authors and vendors are going to have signs of their level of comfort regarding photos, physical contact, and they're also going to reduce capacity at the ball itself. This ad break is shorter than Manon's patience.
My New Year's resolution is to wear comfy shoes, and that's why I'm wearing my Vionic Uptown sneakers every day to the office.
I'm back to visiting you at work, and there's a lot of walking, and I've actually been wearing my VI, Very Intelligent, dress Ramona, which means I get to go to your office all dressed up.
They have so many different color variations for these shoes, and it's so easy to browse these on Vionic's website.
I really love that they're bringing in these new styles. The VI Dress Ramona shoes that I have, it's a timeless style and it is seriously comfortable. It's honestly perfect for work and then dinner and then like everything in between.
No matter whether you're getting sneakers or dress shoes, Vionic uses their VO motion technology in all their shoes, and that's what sets them apart. They began by revolutionizing medical orthotics, and that's the science they use to engineer shoes that I love to wear all day, every day.
Vionic is so confident, and I am confident in them because they offer a 30-day guarantee. Wear them, love them, or return them for a full refund within 30 days.
Use code BookTalk, BOOKTALK, at checkout for 15% off your entire order at VionicShoes.com when you log into your account. It's one-time use only, so use it smartly.
Vionic Shoes, wearable well-being for your feet. Here's the thing about New Year's resolutions. Nearly 80% fail by February. And it's not because people lack willpower, it's because they lack data.
Things like leptin resistance, thyroid dysfunction, chronic inflammation, or hormone imbalances, these hidden issues can derail even your best efforts to get healthier or feel better when you realize what's going on.
This year, my focus is really getting my blood work in line, especially when it comes to heart health. That's been a big issue for me, and I know I need to go back and get tested in April. That's exactly why I chose Function. It's the only health platform giving you access to over 160 biomarkers, covering everything from hormones and metabolism to heart health, inflammation, stress markers, and toxins.
You can even add MRI and chest CT imaging, and it's all tracked in one secure place over time. It's the kind of comprehensive view of your health that most people never get to access.
There's a reason why top health leaders are all behind Function. When you stop guessing and start measuring, everything changes. Your health goals actually have a foundation to build on. So this year, don't rely on guesswork, get your data, track what matters, and make resolutions based on your biology.
Own your health for $365 a year. That's $1 a day. Learn more and join using our link. Visit functionhealth.com/booktalk or use the code BookTalk25, that's BOOKTALK 25, for a $25 credit toward your membership. One of the things that was really hard to learn about banking as a young 20-something was how to avoid overdraft fees and building enough credit to actually have a credit card. There are so many ways Chime is making banking stress-free. They don't charge you fees for banking with them, and they provide you overdraft coverage. And on top of that, you can build credit without the worry about a regular credit card.
There's a reason why Chime is rated 5 stars by USA Today for customer service, because they offer real humans 24/7. I can't tell you the amount of times I have called my bank crying because I cannot stop talking to the robot who cannot help me.
I personally feel like every 20-something-year-old out there needs a Chime card. It's a great way to build credit history with your own money that you're actually earning, and you get rewarded every day.
And for those of us who might not be 20-something, still highly recommend it because of the no annual fees, no interest, no strings attached. And when you qualify for direct deposits, you get 1.5% cash back on eligible Chime card purchases. That's good for anyone.
It's good for everyone.
Chime is not just smarter banking. It is the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today.
It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK.
That's chime.com/booktalk.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/fees info. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
I mean, you can't fault the organizers for not anticipating this stuff, right?
Mhm.
But so it's good, and I'm glad that they're taking extra precautions for the future. They're learning
Yeah.
from the mistake of, quite frankly, not anticipating the worst out of people, because nobody expects the worst out of
Yeah.
people. Were they to never take these precautionary measures in future balls, that would be problematic. So
Yeah.
it is the responsibility of the event organizers to do better, but I also can't blame them for not anticipating this.
You know, at the end of the day, it's not about the event organizers doing better. It's about the attendees doing better. These types of bookish balls happen all the time, all year long in every state. And
Yeah.
never in a million years would I expect a group of women to air tag someone. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't think that there's any way they could have anticipated this or, put these rules into place. Like, a masked ball? Well, yeah, like it's a ball. You have
It's a masquerade.
masquerade. You have masquerades all the time. No one could plan for a woman deep throating a dildo in the middle of somewhere, in the middle of the hotel lobby. Apparently there's a video where I'm like, it's public. Why would you? Everything
Well,
is so public now.
it's not even that, right? It's how many people were in that hotel lobby that were not part of the
Yep.
event,
Yep.
who did not consent to any kind of graphic display of that nature. What if there were children?
It's an explicit sexual act that no one consented to.
Right.
It's no different to me than if a man were to pull out his dick and start masturbating in front of everyone. I mean, maybe it's a little different, but it's the level of like, no one asked for this.
Well, it would be no different if a gay man deep-throated a dildo in a hotel lobby. I would still not be okay with it.
Straight man eating out a vagina thingy. It's fun. You brought in gay men, and I was like, straight men can deep throat dildos too. So I just wanted, I'm like, what's the, straight man equivalent? But yeah, there's a lot of issues there, none of which that I think any event organizers could have anticipated. And
Right.
the first thing I discussed is why?
Mhm.
Why is this happening? And I will also state ahead of this next part of the conversation is I expect better of women. Is that fair? No. Do I feel like women understand the threat, living under the threat of sexual violence? Yeah. We were all taught that. And, statistically, men are far more likely to be the ones to be the assaulter. So am I a bad person for expecting better from women? Maybe. But do I? Yes. So that's just kind of like immediately I'm just like disappointed in the women as a whole, where I'm like, you guys, don't you fucking know better?
Well, and as you say in your article, it's not that you're holding them to a higher standard. You're holding them to the same standard you expect of men.
Yeah.
Men are just more likely to not meet that standard.
Oh, thank you. I did say that. Yeah.
You did say that. I was thinking a lot about this as I was rereading the article for today. And you do talk about early in the article about media and how media is geared toward the male gaze.
Mm-hmm.
And media, advertisement, marketing, it all objectifies things, particularly
Agree.
women,
Yeah.
because it is for the male gaze. And to what extent have women spent generations watching male media,
Yeah.
learning from male media? Because,
Yeah.
do we blame society and media for the way men act?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. And if women are doing the same abhorrent things, is it because they've also learned from the media?
So I talk about in the article that the romance genre is one of the first true forms of media for women, right? Especially nowadays when you have these cute cartoons with rom-coms and, you get the most explicit sex scenes involved, or especially with things like dark romance, right? Like this is media for the most part crafted by women for women. And I don't necessarily think that it's the media influencing. I think women have learned from watching men react to the media.
And that's what I kind of meant. I meant the media consumed by men and the
Yeah.
men who consume that media. Thank you. I was not specifically talking about media created for women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's more about like, I think men, the way that they have free reign to react to the media that they consumed is how women have potentially learned on how to act when you have media that's made for them. And I'm not talking about like the large majority of women. I'm talking about women like these who were at this event and behaved this way, where I start kind of asking more philosophical questions where there is no answer, of saying, why did they do this? Why is it that these women felt empowered to do these horrific things and treat and assault a man like that? To assault an author, to assault the poor people in the lobby with the acts like that. Like, what is it that allowed them? And, one of the themes I explore in this article is, well, is it that women don't know how to react when they are faced with media that's made for them?
Right. And that's a difficult question to answer, right? And it could be that compared to men, we're in our infancy of exploring media that explores our joy and things that bring us joy. And
particularly around sex.
And it's not like men have modeled.
They haven't give us great behaviors to be like, that's how we should react. Yeah.
Right. And, it makes me think of the times that you and I have been called bad feminists. And it's like, being equal doesn't mean we all do the same bad shit. That's not what equality is about.
No.
So I don't understand, because maybe we don't see enough in the news or whatever the case is of women committing horrible acts against other people, not often at least.
Yeah.
That they don't qualify their actions as being equivalent to what they see men do. I have no idea.
It's hard. I mean, also, the topic of women assaulting mothers with, again, we gave a trigger warning at the top, but like I ended up in the side of TikTok of mothers sexually abusing their children. And I think it's one of those things that it's like so inconceivable that we just don't talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how prevalent that is. Like, I don't know if it's more common, or like, again, this might be me thinking like it's still way less common than fathers doing it, but still, like, what if that concept is way more common than I even realize? And the reason why we're not discussing it is because, as a culture, we're like, well, that's just impossible, and we just can't even fathom discussing that. And it makes it hard to condemn women's wrongs, where, again, I hold these women to the same standard I hold men, and it's unforgivable. Now, I do want to go more into this idea of dark romance, and I would like to flag, because people started saying this happened because it's a dark romance ball. It's these dark romance, these women who like dark romance. I mean, people were even saying like, oh, these women just have lost disassociated with reality. Oh, no, actually not just this. I'll get into that. But years ago, when hockey romance was popping off, one of the players from the Seattle Krakens started getting harassed by women. And at first it was almost cute, right? Like women going like, oh my God, he looks just like a character from this book, right? He's so dreamy. And then it crossed a line where there were women who were absolutely bombarding his Instagram, their TikTok, leaving the most graphic comments of the sexual nature, saying, this is what I want you to do to me, explicit. And how would we react if a man was commenting on a woman's post saying, I want you to do X, Y, and Z to me? Like,
Okay.
that's not great. And then to the point where his wife had to come out and say, no. And this past week or so, we're recording this in November, if anyone's like, this didn't happen recently. 2 women were at the Seattle Kraken's game and were holding posters implying wanting like a threesome with / foursome with these 2 men players. And they're holding signs. And you're just like, what? Like,
There are children at these events.
there are children and these men aren't consenting to be sexualized
Right.
like this. You know, like you do this at a women's sporting event and you see a man holding a sign saying, I want to fuck you. I mean, that's not what the sign said. I actually thought their sign was not even creative. Like they weren't even, it was horrible. And it was not even a smart person sign. So it's like, not only are you a predator, but you're an idiot too. But but it's the equivalent of of a man holding like a sign at a women's sporting event. And it's like, no,
Right.
it's lewd. And no one asked for this. Like they didn't ask to be sexualized like that.
Well, it's even you don't even have to put a man in a women's sport. It's men at men's sports and the dancers come on during halftime.
Yep.
Like, now people might be thinking, well, they're thinking about sexual acts, but they're not holding up a sign for everybody to see, for their partners to see.
If the hockey player wants to go be a fuckboy, they'll go be a fuckboy. You know, with consenting women, hopefully. The hockey genre has a lot of shady shit genre. The hockey world, real hockey world, has a lot of bad, dark shit surrounding it. As a lot of male sporting teams do. But
yeah,
but like hopefully consensually, like if they want to go be a fuckboy, they'll go be a fuckboy. But sorry, babes, they're not approaching you to be the fuckboys.
Well, you're also showing up at their place of work.
Yeah.
Like, imagine walking into the object of your affection, walking into their office, and in front of everybody who works with them, holding up a sign saying, I want you to fuck me on this desk.
Yeah. I recently read a scene that involved being fucked on the desk, and I was like, damn right.
Yeah, but
yes,
not in front of everybody.
No, you don't ask that in front of everyone, to a stranger, I mean, again, it's this like idea of comfort that just because these players are young men, I don't know if they're single, but let's pretend they're single, that these young single men who might have a hookup every night, that gives automatic consent to sexualizing, and again, propositioning is such a like loose term for what they did in front of everyone like that. It doesn't matter if the guys laughed it off. Do you know what I mean? Like it turns into a larger conversation. If these guys looked at it and they're like, oh, that's funny, that's not the point. The point is, ladies, what are we doing here?
Right. I firmly believe in new year, new me, and that requires a wardrobe change.
It's actually cold in California. I am so excited because Quince has all of our staples covered. From soft Mongolian cashmere sweaters that feel like designer pieces without the markup, to 100% silk tops and skirts for easy dressing up, to perfectly cut denims for everyday wear.
I purposefully gave my partner my wool coat so I can get a Quince Italian wool coat because they are gorgeous. They're beautifully tailored, they're soft to the touch, and they're built to last years, not just one season.
That's because the quality shows in every detail. You can seriously tell with the stitch, with the fit, with the fabric. Every piece is thoughtfully designed.
Like everything from Quince, each piece is made with premium materials in ethical, trusted factories, which I love. Each piece is priced far below the cost of other luxury brands.
Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365 days returns.
So there's no answer. Oh, actually, I had comments that I wanted to read. So there are a few comments I would like to quickly go through. Someone doesn't have their glasses on, and that's someone.
I can
for
read
me.
them.
Can
I'll
you do
read
that?
them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Neon Comey says, It could be that for some women, this freedom is relatively new in their life. So they are at the teenager level of their experimentation with fantasy. I'm sure if they are full grown adults, they will feel like they went too far afterwards. It's interesting, though. We write a lot of the quote unquote mass effect with crowds of men, how it can make them act in a way they would never allow themselves to act when alone. I wonder if this is similar, in a way much like the girl bully groups we know at high school. I remember during my first summer job in a frozen food company how shocked I was to see that some 50-plus women were acting like teenagers, talking about the boss and his wife, bullying others, etc. I couldn't believe it, and I was only 20-something. There is something, I think, to say when you are in a group of people that normalize behavior that you might not normally feel capable of or empowered to do. And again, it's not the dark romance community that we're talking about.
It's a herd mentality situation.
It can happen in any situation. It could happen at any book con, right? It's not explicitly just this one community.
Yeah. I mean, there's been moments, and I think of like concerts where all of a sudden, the doors open and everyone's running. And, I feel like I can confidently say that's my limit. You know what I mean? And, yes. And I agree with like what this person is saying, that there's this like herd mentality and people do things that they don't expect themselves to do. However, they're still doing things that regardless of whether they expect themselves to do it, they're doing those things. It's like, one of my favorite videos on TikTok I've ever seen is a woman who was like, do you see how I'm super drunk and I'm not using racial slurs or raping anyone? Do you know what I mean? And like, that's the herd mentality, a part of you comes out that like you're surprised that came out. I would like to think that I have enough in me and I've had enough situations that I have been the person to step in and say, no, this is not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how drunk we are, how high we are,
how caught up in a crowd,
how good we feel, how supported we feel, morality should still reign.
Mm-hmm.
Morality is still number one. We should maintain morals.
And I feel like you either got them or you don't, or you can develop them. I do think people can learn morals. I really do. I think people can learn from their mistakes and say like, that was a shit show. Nope, will not do that again. Like I would love to leave grace, because if we condemn people, now there are some actions that I will 100% condemn. Let's throw them away. I have no desire to let them out into society. But if we were to have situations like these two women at the Kraken's game, I would love to think that there is room for redemption, that these women can learn and say, wow, that was really not okay. And why was that not okay? So it's I like to think that there's some level of instinctual morality, and I would like to think that there's some level of being taught and that you can redeem yourself. I think there's one more comment. I mean, there's a couple comments, but I think we got time for one more.
This is from Milika. I see blaming the dark romance element as another way to discredit an interest women have, because by this logic, every genre can influence the reader to do reprehensible things. But it is only when it's a woman's interest that it is discussed in this type of way. This type of behavior existed long before the genre of dark romance. As long as we recognize that it is fiction and that such behavior should stay in fiction, it is harmless. I think that we absolutely should hold women accountable for such behavior, because as unfair as the world is towards women, if we don't hold women accountable, we are no better than men. Milika just always killing it.
Yep. Absolutely. Like, it's unfair. The world is unfair. I will not give leeway.
Right, because we just perpetuate the problem if we give in. And Milika said it great. Like, people who enjoy dark romance know that it's fiction, know that it should stay fiction, that if a woman in real life was in a dubious consent situation and needed support, they would support them, whatever way they wanted that support, right?
I think Milika made also another good point where having these instances happen, you're just leaving room for people to, like she said, condemn an interest that women have. society loves shitting on things that women like. And when you have instances like these, it just gives society fake validation of saying, see, we're right. This genre is horrible. Women
Right.
shouldn't have interests like these.
Right. Never mind all the graphic crap the men are watching.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Pissing in, it's just gross. It's just gross.
Some people like that.
That's true. If a woman likes it, I'll be okay with it. If a man likes it, I will be like, I can't. What are you doing? What's funny is I've read books where the guy spits in a woman's mouth, and it's not my cup of tea, but like in the moment, I'm like, yeah. And I have encountered a man. Yeah, he was like, I want to spit in your mouth. And I was like, hey, I just learned a boundary. And I told him no. I told him I was like, I'm not sure. And then there was a moment where he was like lining me up, and I was like, hey, boundary, no. And he moved right along. Amy is cringing hard right now.
Yeah, I think that happened in Sinners, where she spits into his mouth.
Which, the movie?
Yeah. And I remember being like, ugh, I can't do it. And that's just a me thing. You know what? I haven't encountered it in the bedroom. Maybe I'll be into it if I'm in the bedroom.
I don't know. Honestly. I mean, because like in the books, I was like, okay. And like I'm not like, guys, it was like a heat of a moment situation. I mean, we had already talked in a non-heated moment of lines and boundaries of what we like and what we're willing to do. I very much believe in doing that before, when you're not in the heat of the moment, and having that upfront conversation. So we had already discussed boundaries, and that was one that I had expressed like not being sure. And then in the passionate heat of the moment, I was like, you know what? Wow. I just found a line. I just found a boundary. That's a new boundary. We're going to put that right there.
Yeah. Hard no.
Hard no. And again, I'm not going to applaud him, because he, as all men should, back the hell off. So he doesn't get brownie points for doing what he should have done.
Yeah. And I hope he finds a woman who's into it.
I hope, you know what? I hope he finds the best mouth to spit into. I hope
who consents.
Who consents? Who loves that shit? Good for you, babe. Go get it.
Yeah.
And if you're into it, I can send you his DM. No, I won't. I won't do that. All right.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. Next week, we'll be discussing Phantasma by Kaylee Smith.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps other readers find us. And of course, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's episode. Share your comments through our forum at booktalkforbooktalk.com, and we might feature your feedback in a future mini episode or in a Patreon exclusive episode.
For merch and more ways to support the show, head to booktalkforbooktalk.com. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle BookTok for Book Talk. And don't forget to join us by subscribing to the Subtext Society Journal.substack.com to get more insights into the romantasy and romance world. Bye. One of the things that was really hard to learn about banking as a young 20-something was how to avoid overdraft fees and building enough credit to actually have a credit card. There are so many ways Chime is making banking stress-free. They don't charge you fees for banking with them, and they provide you overdraft coverage. And on top of that, you can build credit without the worry about a regular credit card.
There's a reason why Chime is rated 5 stars by USA Today for customer service, because they offer real humans 24/7. I can't tell you the amount of times I have called my bank crying because I cannot stop talking to the robot who cannot help me.
I personally feel like every 20-something-year-old out there needs a Chime card. It's a great way to build credit history with your own money that you're actually earning, and you get rewarded every day.
And for those of us who might not be 20-something, still highly recommend it because of the no annual fees, no interest, no strings attached. And when you qualify for direct deposits, you get 1.5% cash back on eligible Chime card purchases. That's good for anyone.
It's good for everyone.
Chime is not just smarter banking. It is the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today.
It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK.
That's chime.com/booktalk.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/fees info. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
I firmly believe in new year, new me, and that requires a wardrobe change.
It's actually cold in California. I am so excited because Quince has all of our staples covered. From soft Mongolian cashmere sweaters that feel like designer pieces without the markup, to 100% silk tops and skirts for easy dressing up, to perfectly cut denims for everyday wear.
I purposefully gave my partner my wool coat so I can get a Quince Italian wool coat because they are gorgeous. They're beautifully tailored, they're soft to the touch, and they're built to last years, not just one season.
That's because the quality shows in every detail. You can seriously tell with the stitch, with the fit, with the fabric. Every piece is thoughtfully designed.
Like everything from Quince, each piece is made with premium materials in ethical, trusted factories, which I love. Each piece is priced far below the cost of other luxury brands.
Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365 days returns.